Guests, thank you so much for being here today. Both my wife and I are incredibly grateful and humbled that you've battled through all sorts of things to be here. With over 30 different nationalities represented here, a particular thank you to those of you who have made long and costly journeys from the other side of the world to be here today. It means the world to us and our families. And over the next few minutes, I have the privilege of thanking some of the people who supported this wedding and indeed the marriage to come. Firstly, to Moto and Xiaoling, the people I can now call Mama and Papa Taniguchi. And there is neither bride nor wedding without you. I am of course most thankful for the way in which you've raised Lisa. Both of us will be eternally grateful that you taught her about God from a young age, for providing her and giving her the best possible opportunities, particularly when you packed her off to Britain to meet this random man. Thank you for demonstrating a pattern of parenthood that we hope to one day imitate. I'd like to say it's always been a pleasure to get to know you, but that would be patently untrue. The first emotion I held towards you was a deep-seated terror. I'm scared of all Singaporean women over the age of 32, and also the Mrs. T. And it didn't help that in my first Zoom call with Lisa's parents, Moto said, "Rohan, when you come to Japan, we're gonna fight." If Hollywood teaches me anything, it's not attack Japanese men. But I'm very grateful in that since then you have consistently closed the distance to show me love, to welcome me to the family like a son, praying for me and hosting me in Japan, which really was the culmination of that. Mr. T, you went above and beyond in taking me to an onsen. Now, for those of you that don't know, an onsen is a Japanese bathhouse, and it was a fun experience, and after it, I am humbled by and in awe of you. Thank you for how you have supported our engagement, our marriage, and the wedding. The reality of today would simply not be possible without you. In addition to gaining new parents, I also gained an older sister. Raina, thank you for the support and encouragement you've offered to Lisa her whole life. It's clear from most things, but especially her CV, that she's viewed you as a role model. It's been super fun getting to know you, and thank you so much for overlooking our first conversation. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I'm sorry that was the worst human interaction I have ever had. We look forward to future trips frequently to Austin to visit you, even if it means we have to hear your further demise into an American accent. From that which I'm gaining to that which I've always had. To my parents, unequivocally, the greatest earthly blessing I have been granted by the good Creator God is by being raised as your son. In every month I live and every situation I encounter, I am increasingly grateful that I am your child. For modeling in word and deed a Christ-centered, self-denying, cricket-appreciating life. I pray that Lisa and I may have a marriage like yours. We're grateful for the way that you've lovingly and wisely welcomed Lisa into the family. And it's really important to say, both parents are loving enough to ensure that we have a realistic view of the other person. So this means that when I talk to Lisa's parents, we talk about all the wonderful things about her. I love hearing wondrous things about her childhood. But when Lisa talks to my parents, it's not really that. It's more like them saying, "Are you sure?" Thank you for helping to prepare Lisa to deal with me for a lifetime. In the recent words of my mum, "Rohan, you're another woman's problem now." Thank you for your coordination and planning of this day. My mum made the spreadsheet for this wedding 2 hours after we got engaged. And it has been a long preparatory effort, but a massive thank you to both the mums for really carrying the team in this. And as they've already alluded, one of the key enablers of my parents raising me and Asha in the way that they did was the example set by the godly living of their parents. So Grandma, Daviji, thank you for your example and pattern of hospitality, Christian service, marriage and parenthood. I look forward to thanking your husbands for this in glory. It would be remiss to talk about my parents without talking about their greatest achievement. If I was my parents' trial run, then Asha, you are the perfected version. Undoubtedly my closest childhood friend, I enjoyed you often being my partner in crime, or perhaps more often being the victim of my crimes. Thank you for sharpening me mentally, spiritually, not being afraid to call out my quote-unquote crazy stalker behaviour with Lisa, and being the main reason I'm not completely terrified of talking to women. I'm grateful for the efforts you made to welcome Lisa to the family. This marriage is not you losing a brother, but gaining a sister. We owe an immense debt of gratitude not only to our biological families, but also to our church families at Euston and at St. John's Wood Road Baptist Church. Thank you to Scott and Justine for doing our pre-engagement and premarital counselling. Thank you for walking us through the key texts in the Bible of marriage and giving us someone to blame if this all goes wrong. I'm profoundly grateful to all of you at Euston, even though you are Anglicans, and has continued to grow in the likeness of Christ and eagerness to serve Him. One of the primary blessings that God has given the Srirangam Joseph family of many generations is the church family at Union. Many of you have been praying for my parents before they were married, praying for me since before I was born, and praying for my future wife before you knew she would be called. Today is a testimony of God's faithfulness to us through His people across many generations. Igor, we've lived together for 4 years. Thank you for always being there to chat and calling me out on the trash I say that others just blindly accept. Thank you for being the first one who suggested the possibility of a relationship with Lisa. And thank you for consistently praying for us in that. Nat, thank you for being the best third wheel possible. Rita insightfully asked of you, why is he always there? The big bad you were. Now Matt, he's been up at the front. He is jetting off to USA tomorrow to do some clever stuff at MIT. And obviously, we very much want him to come back to the UK. And so when we were brainstorming about how this might happen, Justine said, oh well, Roman, you could set him up with someone at your wedding who'll stay in the UK, so he has a reason to come back. So if you're a woman, Christian, and like a whole lot of that weirdness, do introduce yourself to him. Danny, we've been living together and going to church together for the last 3 years. That's about as close to marriage as I've got so far. And it has been a privilege to do that alongside. One of the things I will miss most about married life is not living in that hovel of a flat that we lived in. My goodness, was it fun. It was like living with brothers from another mother. Well, given the amount some of you texted my mum, brothers from the same. Josh, I look forward to gaining you the brother I never had. The Taniguchi family are wonderful, but deeply confusing. I look forward to the fact that we, in some ways, get to experience those joys and confusions together as we both join the incredible family. To the bridesmaids, you all loved Lisa before I did. Thank you for all the help and support you've given her from primary school to helping her peak today. One of the great privileges of this relationship has been getting to know Lisa's people. Sorry that when I met you, I was probably a freak and went on a theological route. I enjoyed getting to know you, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you better in the years to come. And now, it's been a long time coming, but it's time I turn to the new and only Mrs. Joseph. It doesn't feel real that we're now married. I'm ridiculously excited to spend a lifetime with you. I can't believe you agreed to all this, but I guess the hope of a British passport is a pretty From the second encounter onwards, I have marvelled at your many wondrous qualities, and I know you hate this kind of thing, so I'll keep it short. I love that you are above all Christ-centered. The first thing I liked about you was your love for God's word, evident when you gently challenged my heretical view of John's gospel outside RSM that fateful Thursday. Perhaps the things I like most about you is the way in which that you ensure head knowledge of God's word always flows to heart and hands. Perhaps that's a testament to the way your parents raised you. Your selflessness, servant-heartedness, and gentleness have given encouragement and an example to me. In the words of someone here, Rohan, Lisa is all the good things you are. Thank you for being incredibly patient and long-suffering. Sorry that my idea of showing interest was going to the British Library, doing a 10 of those bookstall, and explaining in detail the difference between conventional and reverse swing. Put up with me and have signed up for a lifetime of this. Patience, yes. Possessing discernment, probably not. And what I'm most looking forward to about marriage is this: spending way more time together and knowing that you can never escape it. I love spending time with you. You're a particularly good cook. I'm 8 kilograms heavier than when I first met you, so I'm looking forward to getting real fat real fast. I can't wait for our future together. In the near term, for those of you that don't know, this will be living and working in London. Thank you for the many of you who have been praying for us. And we can look forward to what God has in store for us in the future. I pray that God will bring us closer together and closer to Him as we walk in obedience to His Son. We hope, God willing, and very vocally from our parents and grandparents, that the future will bring us children. I look forward to raising our little ones with you, and with 4 and a bit nationalities represented, they're going to need business cards to explain their ethnicities. I hope and pray that we will raise them in God's instruction as we were, and that in time they may have their own saving. While this is all unknown, I look forward to journeying alongside you in the way that God has set us for the rest of our lives. Lisa, you are mine for life, but you're not mine forever. So if this speech started with us thanking you for coming to this wedding, it ends with an invitation to come to the next. We believe that our marriage, our wedding, is a feeble, faltering picture of the much more glorious reality of Jesus and the people He loves, the church. We didn't just get Scott to say those things to tick a religious box. We want to earnestly implore each of you to look at the man who offers us a rescue from this situation we have put ourselves in. He is the one in whom Lisa and I are joined together. So this wedding is in one sense about me and Lisa, but it's in a far greater sense about Him. So can we urge you, it is a rescue you don't want to turn down. So as I finish, Lisa, I am incredibly excited for a lifetime with you. I still can't quite believe you've gone through And I'm not going to check in with you in case you change your